Joining us now, Michael Wildes, managing partner with the leading immigration law firm of Wildes and Weinberg, PC. He's also the author of Safe Haven in America, Battles to Open the Golden Door, and he was the immigration attorney for Melania Trump and her family. Welcome back. It's nice to see you, Michael. This boils down to presidential authority, right? The president's power, first off.
Well, also understand this. This is a cherished part of America's identity. We are a jus locale as opposed to a jus sanguine, which means a person can be born physically and become a citizen. We had a very important case years ago. My late father started our firm in 1960, where a child was born on an airplane, an American flag plane, over U.S. territory. And when the plane landed, the mom had to leave within 90 days, but the child was a citizen. You can't sponsor a parent until you're 21 years old. So there's nobody crossing the Rio Grande to have what's considered to be an anchor baby so they can come here at 21 years later. The law is working fabulously. In fact, 33 other countries have birthright citizenship, including our neighbors, Canada and Mexico. In this instance, 3 federal judges blocked President Trump's executive order, and the Supreme Court is dealing, as you artfully articulated, with the ruling about universal injunctions. Can these 3 judges universally enjoin the president's executive orders or not? And the thesis ultimately, I'm sorry, yes?
No, that's okay. I was just going to say that conservatives question, though, the need for national or universal injunctions. And you heard Justice Thomas there say that we survived until the 1960s without them. So even before you get to the discussion about birthright citizenship, it comes down to presidential power. Does he have a point there, or does it matter who's in office?
Well, the thesis here is that the Department of Justice can't pick rulings based on their political preferences. Historically, a circuit court's ruling, that is, the district courts in the different circuits in the federal system, are deemed to be binding if in that circuit, unless it's stayed or overturned by that circuit or the Supreme Court. And Justice Barrett here, a Trump appointee, a very conservative, questions that were asked reflected the notion of the separation of powers and the executive's respect for the judicial authority. She, by her question, shows that there is a co-equal branch of government, and that's really what's at play right now. The president cannot come in and with a stroke of a pen change the Constitution. You know what it would take? It would take 2/3 of the House and the Senate and 3/4 of our nation's legislatures in order to overturn this law. So you have a procedural kind of theater of challenge right now, but it all surrounds something that has been sanctified in an amendment to the Constitution, that if you're physically born in America, you are a citizen, unless you're not subject to the jurisdiction, which has to do with foreign diplomats that have children on U.S. soil and otherwise. Our founding fathers and our documents envisioned a world of freedom from tyranny, and that we wouldn't create differences in our own land based on political preference, or allow a president to choose which laws he would want to obey or change. That is the job of Congress, to make the law, the president to enforce it, and for the courts to evaluate its constitutionality.
Right. Understanding the system in place and authority granted to each of those powers. The constitutionality of the 14th Amendment, one thing the court is essentially taking up here, in addition to the national injunctions, it seems as though Sotomayor wants the court to take up the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship. I guess the question now, Michael, is what happens now? What's the next step logistically in this process?
Well, that's what's happening. That's coming to a theater near us, no matter how we see it. This president will pick laws that he likes and those that he doesn't. And ultimately, we have the courts to protect the integrity of the Constitution and our system of laws. So I think this procedural argument will play itself out. And if it disposes of it based on the notion of universal injunctions, then it may not have to hear the 14th Amendment.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.